Hey there, I'm Saloni. I'm a British Asian artist. I was born and brought up in the UK with some but my bit. I'm a British Asian artist. I was born and brought up in the UK with some South Asian heritage, as my parents are from India. But growing up, I did have a bit of a struggle trying to figure out what my identity was. Obviously, with going to a very British school, but having strong Indian heritage while I was at home, I struggled to figure out which one I belonged to. And I tried to do this through my passion for music, and this really helped when I made the decision to take a gap year. I'm Saloni, and this is the moment that changed me. While I was at school, I'd say I was still figuring stuff out. I didn't know if it was like a career. It was a little tough because I wasn't always supported by my peers for like the singing side of things. My parents were really supportive to kind of put in these extracurricular sessions where maybe not many would. I went to these different singing lessons, dance classes within Milton Keynes. And that being said, of course, they wanted me to go down like the typical path, which is, for South Asians, a lot of it is just doctor, engineer and all of that, and something very academic. In terms of cultural belonging at school, there wasn't as much representation as I thought there would be or would have liked for it to be. It was quite a predominantly Caucasian sort of area, Buckingham, so I felt like they struggled to understand the different cultures. I'd say my school journey was a big learning curve and a big personal development sort of thing to kind of, get stronger. I actually just really enjoyed being at school. I never really saw too much of a flaw about it. As school ended, I made my decision to take a gap year, which firstly was just not known to do within my culture. It was like a big moment. I think I was one of the first people in like my age group to do that. So I was like, the second I get out of, finishing A-levels, I booked all these festivals for myself. I think that was how I kind of launched myself to, take music as a full-time thing. So yeah, after these festivals, I sort of was working on releasing my EP, and I was releasing this towards the end of 2019, which was like as my gap year sort of started. I grew up trying to sort of find my identity between these two different areas. One was, being brought up in the UK, going to a British school.
Yeah. What do you want to have?
But then also the sense at home where it was a lot of Indian culture, South Asian culture, and it was trying to find where I fit in between the two. I had a plan to go to India. I sort of saw the sort of culture that's over there, which is more like the film sort of music, which even that I was like, okay, I'm not too sure if this fully fits with my identity either, because that was like pure Indian stuff. And so I think then I also had a performance. I did like the beach festival in Vizag, and I was like, okay, let me come up with something that shows both of my identities, and that's when I created like the first mashup on my own. I did a mashup of Senorita and Tujhe Bula Diya, and that's when the kind of click happened to me, in the sense that I thought, okay, this is me as an identity. It's bringing my Western side, but then it also brought in the Indian side. Once I came back, I was like, okay, I want to do more of this, and I wanted to do that, live, kind of going into the studio and doing all of that. But once I came back, it was COVID hit, and we all had to go into lockdown. During the year that I took out, I realized, okay, I don't want to do finance at Bath, and I decided, you know what, I want to do something that's more, I want to do something in a city because there's more opportunity for music. As I went into London, London is literally the heart of the UK, and there were so many opportunities to, perform within university, but also outside of university. I did loads of club shows, I did loads of, just general, like, intimate performances as well. When I went to university, it was quite a diverse uni. To begin with, I didn't mention a lot about my singing because I was kind of scared that they wouldn't be received well. But when people saw my social media and stuff, they obviously saw that, and they were like, oh my god, you need to show more of this, we want to see you perform live and stuff like that. And so that's where I really felt a sense of belonging with uni. I sort of found my people there. in my second year of uni, we had like something called Rangila, which is like you do different showcases of different talents, and I was like one of the like composers of the music team that we did, and we did like through the decades of South Asian music. And then this one here is when I released Legacy. My uni friends got it for me, my flatmates, and yeah, it was a little cute gift that they got me. Legacy, which was actually in my mother tongue, Telugu, along with English, which is like the kind of legacy that I'd like to leave behind. And a big reason as to why I put Telugu on there was trying to represent like that specific culture, because growing up I did hear a few of the crossover sort of songs, but a lot of it was in Punjabi, Hindi, English sort of thing, and I was like, you know what, I've never heard anyone do this in Telugu, so I kind of put that out there. I think it was one of the first of its kind, and I remember straight after that I got loads of messages like from Telugu people going, oh, I've never heard this, I'm so glad you did that. And I think that's truly what means the most to me, because I never had that representation growing up, like for the Telugu side specifically, and it's sort of that feeling that, you know, I want to be that representation for the younger generation. And the languages are very, very beautiful. That's why I love all of the languages that I sing in. I don't just stick to like one or two. Like I like exploring all these different languages because each one has its own beauty, and I want to eventually be able to, you know, release original music in each of those languages. But it's about, you know, your identity crisis of trying to kind of fit into both areas. So this sort of music is to kind of show that you can be both and you don't have to pick one. She be on fire, make you really wanna do this like that. On her empire, she know everybody wanna live like that. She wanna live big like that, pull up in a hurry, rich like that. Chalima is about women empowerment. On fire, make you really wanna do this like that. On her empire, she know everybody wanna live like that. It's done in 2 different languages, in Hindi and English. And the reason I wrote this song was to show that, you know, women can do whatever they want, and like you got to stick together to sort of strive to do what you love. Chalima basically means I'll go. It literally means I'll go, but it's like the vibe of I'll pop off in Hindi. We just wanna see us go big like that. All these girls around me, if we work together, we'll kind of reach the top. That's the vibe of the lyrics. And I try to go for this sort of meaning with a lot of my songs, in the sense of, you know, empowerment, striving for what you love to do. There's so much more I want to achieve, but sometimes I do need to step back and think where I was like a couple years ago and where I am now. And I wouldn't say I didn't think that I'd reach here, because I think I always had that mindset of, oh, I need to kind of like strive until I get what I want to get. I guess the biggest moments for me over the last couple of years have literally been getting on the official Asian music charts, being like officially trending on Instagram. Spotify Wrapped recently came, and it's just nice to see like the different countries that are listening to you, the number of people that are listening to you. I performed at The Great Escape, which is like one of the biggest events for new music artists. I performed at BBC Maida Vale Studios earlier this year, in the mic that Beyonce sang in, so that was a huge moment for me. And yeah, I think it's just performing at all these places that I didn't really imagine, and hopefully someday an arena, we'll see. Before I'm on stage, like the run up to kind of walking on the ramp and all of that stuff, I'll get a bit nervous. But the second I'm on stage and I'm singing to everyone and everyone's cheering along, that like those nerves go away. And that's like the moment where I'm like, oh, I love what I'm doing. I'm so glad I'm here. So that's kind of what pushes me and kind of makes me go further and makes me want to do this continuously.